This is AP Calculus Lesson 2-10. We were talking about the quotient rule. This is our last lesson in this unit. So pretty fun. Trying something new today. We're trying to already have the setup. I printed this out for everyone. And let's actually switch to blue, not black. All right, so types of quotients. What is another name for quotient? Shout it out. Division, okay. Fraction. Ratio. Yeah, all these things. These are quotients. So 3 divided by 7 is technically a quotient. What is the derivative with respect to x of 3/7?
Shouldn't it be 0?
It is 0. Why is it 0, Ben?
Because it's a constant.
It's a constant. Yeah, it's just derivative of a constant. Same thing. So we'll put 0, box it, final answer. And if you want to know why, we can do this in, we'll do it green. I have green as a color now. I can do any color also.
Basically, to know if it's 0 is that to check if it has a variable. If it doesn't, then it's just 0.
Exactly, yeah. If it has a variable, then you need to worry. All right, this one, the derivative of negative 5x divided by 4. What is this one?
Negative 5 over 4. No, negative 5.
Is it negative 5 or negative 5 over 4?
Negative 5 over 4.
Negative 5 over 4, like that?
No, it's negative 5.
That should be it.
I think it is.
Because it's the same as negative 5/4 times x.
Yeah, so that's a good way of writing this. So let's actually write that in our notes. So this is the same thing as, we'll still write the derivative, d dx, the derivative with respect to x of negative 5/4 times x, and therefore that turns into just negative 5/4. Yeah, perfect. All right, what about number 3? 2x minus 1 divided by natural log of x.
2 over x.
2 over x, a good guess. But no, sadly, we can't do this. You can take all the guesses that you want. You probably won't get this unless you are extremely, extremely lucky or you've seen this before.
Would you convert it away from a fraction like 2x minus 1 times ln of x to the negative 1?
Yes, you totally can do that. I remember when I was in calculus, I hated quotient rule so much that I would, don't write this in your notes, I hated quotient rule so much that I would go like this. I would say this is now the derivative with respect to x of 2x minus 1 times natural log of x to the power of negative 1. You can do that. You can use product rule. Product rule is easier than quotient rule. We learned product rule last Tuesday. It was a while ago, and it's Monday now because of the Yosemite trip. Yeah, so you can do this. But if you want to take the, I don't even know if I should be calling it a shortcut. Sometimes it's a shortcut. Sometimes it's even longer than if I would have done product rule like this. But I'm going to be calling it.
What's product rule again?
Yeah. Does anyone remember the cute little phrase for product rule?
Oh, it was 2d1, 1d2. Whatever.
Yeah, 1d2 minus 2d1, or plus 1. Yeah, so
1d2.
d2 plus 2d1, like that. That was product rule. All right, so this one we can't do. We cry. So the answer to this one is quotient rule. If the thickness of these lines is starting to annoy you, that's because I'm putting on training wheels by making my my stylus more sensitive, so I don't crush the tip of my stylus. I need to learn not to put so much force. Ever since the 5th grade, I put so much force on my pencils that I would go through them like twice as fast as people around me. I'm slowly getting used to not using any force at all. All right, the quotient rule. This guy. Both of these are stars. That's the biggest star that I can make that I can type. I could always just write a star and then print that out, but it doesn't look as cool as if I typed it. Also, for me in my notes, I know that if I wrote anything, that's stuff that you guys should be writing too, and if it's typed, that's something that should be typed for you guys. So that's why I have these tiny stars. But normally that would be our giant red star. What is the derivative of a function divided by a function? And by the way, quotient rule, the reason I know that I have to use quotient rule up here for number 3 is because there was a function. Write this down. There's a function, I can write this a little bit nicer, function on the top divided by a function on the bottom. A function could have been x, but 5 is a function. It's a constant function, but I would think of that more of a constant than a function. So if I have a function on the top and a function on the bottom, that's when you want to use quotient rule. So what is the quotient rule? So there's 2 versions of this. I will teach you both of them. First version is if I have a function on the top, function on the bottom. This one is less memorized. This is the one that just sounds really cool. It sounds like we're dwarves in Snow White. But let's go ahead and do this one. So this is going to be g It's actually G for this one, yeah. But good. Thank you for making me check. G times F prime minus F times G prime.
Why is it G times F prime first?
Because if it wasn't, then the first one would have to be a negative, and it would be a negative plus something, and it looks better if there's just one minus sign in between them.
Wait, it's 2d1 minus 1d2.
Oh, look at that. Yeah,
You just switch the sign.
it's close. Yeah, if I were to reverse these and then flip the sign, the top is the same, but we also have a bottom.
Oh.
All over G squared.
Really?
Yeah. As a note, I will say this in my class and in the AP test. I'll do my note in green. For this guy right here, for this G squared, don't ever FOIL him out. Don't FOIL. Unless I explicitly tell you to, and maybe I should do all caps because it's an acronym. Don't first, outer, inner, last it. Don't multiply it out. Just leave it G squared. So if it's, for example, if it was 2x minus 1 for the denominator, just leave it 2x minus 1 quantity squared. Just leave it like that. Let's go back. Okay, this is the one that everyone memorizes. So I will do this one in red. And now we're going to sing this. Maybe not.
Is it a high ho?
Yeah, hi ho, hi ho. Kind of like that. So for this one, it's going to be, you always start low. So you start at that low, but you can end on that high. So it's going to be low, low D high, minus high D low. All over, and I usually pronounce this as low low, or low squared. But again, it's low D high minus high D low minus low, or all of that divided by low low. Sounds kind of fun to say. You should just say it once. It's so fun. Like, it rolls off your tongue. Try it. I'm not going to do it all at the same time. Just do it like in your head. No, not in your head. Do it out loud. Just whisper it. Low D high minus high D low over low low. It's fun to say. It's hard to do when you have a hard function, but it is a fun rule. No one's going to even whisper it. All right. You guys are boring. Let's go ahead and do one example, and then we'll cut it off there because one example is more than enough. So this is our function from before, right? 2x minus 1 all over natural log of x. Let's actually see how to do this. I'm going to switch to black because it's my example. Color code this thing. Okay, so it's low D high. Well, what's our low?
ln of x.
ln of x, which is also pronounced
Natural log of
natural log of x.
x.
Yep.
Links.
No, it's not pronounced links. So natural log of x times, so it's low D high, so the derivative of the high, derivative of the top. What's the derivative of 2x minus 1? 2. Perfect. And I'm going to subtract high D low.
So it's 2x minus 1.
So
times.
keep parentheses around that 2x minus 1. That is the entire function. That is our high. And now we need to multiply by D low.
Which would be 1 over x.
Times 1 over x. There it is. And all of this is going to be divided by, error or ben,
ln of x quantity squared.
natural log of x quantity squared. We can just go like, yeah. I was figuring out if we want to do square brackets or not. Perfect. And for my class, just make sure that everything is multiplied out. You don't actually have to subtract these unless I tell you to. So multiply these out. This is now equal to 2 times natural log of x. And this is going to be subtracting, and now this is going to be a fraction over here, so it's going to be, I don't know what I'm writing here. 2, oh my gosh, I can't write. 2x minus 1, all of that divided by x, and then all of this thing is divided by natural log of x quantity squared. The end. Thank you. All right. Questions about how to use quotient rule? That's it. Go ahead and write your summaries in this blank space underneath here. Your summary is probably just going to be your favorite rule. Maybe you like this one, the first one. Maybe you like the second one more.
Why would we choose a favorite rule?
because personal preference. Like if you can remember the first rule better than you can remember the second rule, that will suffice.
It's like as if I choose more equations than just logics.
Yeah, so it's that differentiation. It's like choosing to use quadratic formula versus completing the square. It's personal preference. You can solve it both ways. All right, and that concludes the notes.